is now Mariano Puerta, who has his chance, making a walk of his dreams. A man who plays almost exclusively on clay, who has come back from missing 9 months on the tennis tour due to a suspension for using an illegal substance. And now he is back and will be a top 10 player in the next world ranking, win or lose today. And for Rafael Nadal, his game face. And you get a sense it doesn't leave him very often. And at 19 years of age, he walks on court with his racket already in his hand, ready today to finish what many have claimed to be his destiny, to win the French Open Championship. And we welcome you live to Paris in our coverage on NBC with Mary Carrillo, John McEnroe, and Bud Collins, Ted Robinson. Indeed, it seems like it's been this story the last few years. 2 years ago, Juan Carlos Ferrero. Last year, Guillermo Coria. It didn't work for him. And today we come expecting another coronation, this time of Rafael Nadal as the king of clay. And Mary, is there any reason to doubt that'll happen?
I don't have that much doubt at all. And this guy, he's the real thing, Ted. And he showed, I mean, just look at him. Doesn't it look like he's going to win this thing? I mean, everything he does suggests that he was to the manner born. I mean, ready for this. And he's already had a lot of very big matches on court Philippe Chatrier. In the third round, there was the expected matchup between him and the young French phenom, Richard Gasquet. And he was able to handle Gasquet and show off just everything he does so well. This was the set point to end the second set. Look at that. Gets behind him, still comes up with the goods, and then celebrates with all of us. How exciting it is for him to be there. Then he beat Sébastien Grosjean, another Frenchman, a couple of rounds later, and then taking on Roger Federer on this court. And this was really such an impressive performance, such a mature performance from a kid celebrating this win on his 19th birthday. And even though Federer had taken the second set, this is how he finished off the third set, went on to win. And here he is today, and I don't know what, look at this. He's energized, to say the very least. And look, this is how he comes out in all of his matches. Looks like he's a boxer, just getting ready for the prize fight. And I like his chances a lot.
Well, the energy is just wonderful. The flamboyance and the charisma, terrific for the sport. And John McEnroe, you played in the semifinals.
Well, I love when he sprints out there. I've got to congratulate you, Ted, before we go any further, that you broke your own record. You mentioned Alberto Berasategui in the first 30 seconds of a French telecast, so congratulations.
It's a source of personal pride. Thank you very much. You know, you played in the semis at Wimbledon as a teenager. You saw Becker win as a teenager. You saw Mats Wilander win here as a teenager. Do you see the similarities in Nadal, that he is indeed ready?
Who had bigger biceps, me or Nadal? Remember back then? It was tough.
Get the measuring tape, please.
Here's one of Puerta's problems, okay? Nadal is bigger, he's stronger, he's younger, he plays with more energy, and he's fresher, and he has a bigger game. So
that's one of his problems?
That's one of his big problems. And it's going to be really difficult for Puerta, in my opinion, to make a match of this. I mean, he's got a couple things going for him. I mean, he's got a nice-looking backhand. He plays much better on clay. I mean, there's no question about that. Thank God he's not playing Nadal on another surface. But he's a powerful young, not young, I mean young comparable to me, I suppose, but he's not as young as this guy Nadal. He's been through a long, difficult road. He was 5 years ago, had broken into the top 20. This guy had more clay court wins than anyone that year. So this guy was on the road. He got hurt against Ferrero 4 or 5 years ago. This is where I say, thank the Lord he's not playing Nadal on another surface. At least on clay, he's got an outside chance. That's why they play sporting events, Ted. I mean, you can talk about it all you want on paper, but when you finally get out there on the court, anything can happen. He's got that puncher's chance, you know, the Buster Douglas against Mike Tyson.
Gaston Gaudia.
Exactly.
Just a year ago.
The same thing last year. Al Costa 3 years ago. The same thing. Guys that were given virtually no chance on this day, and whether it's nerves or the favorite, for whatever reason, managed to win.
Nerves have definitely affected a great deal of players in many, many sports. And in a way, I mean, you don't wish that upon someone, but I wish to see that a little bit with Nadal so that we see a competitive match.
All right. Well, it is Mariano Puerta's day as he takes on Rafael Nadal, the men's championship at Roland-Garros, live on NBC. The French Open on NBC, presented by Raymond James. Brought to you by Raymond James, individual solutions from independent advisors. By Aquafina, make your body happy, drink more water. By Arca X, the world's largest fully electronic stock exchange. And by General Motors, GM employee pricing for everyone at participating dealers ends July 5th. Conditions very much like they were for the ladies' championship yesterday. It's an overcast afternoon in Paris. Not terribly warm. There is a breeze blowing. And dry so far on this Sunday, which is welcome news. As Nadal celebrated his 19th birthday with certainly the biggest win of his career to date. Ranked 5 right now.
I think he's grown an inch. I mean, I think he's about 6'1". He looked about the same size as Roger. He's had a fantastic year. He's won 5 tournaments already.
And here's his Aquafina road to this final, losing a set to Grosjean and a set to Federer. And the dismantling, as we showed you in the open, of Gasquet, the French, hopeful in the third round, was quite impressive.
Well, Richard Gasquet is another terrific young prospect, but not nearly the physical being that Nadal is. But keep in mind, Gasquet handed Roger Federer one of his only losses of 2005.
Well, Gasquet admitted to not being fit enough. The best of 5 is different than best of 3 when he beat Roger. And Nadal reminds me so much of Boris Becker as a young kid. He's so physically intimidating at a young age. Mariano's road to this first Grand Slam final has been far different.
His rank, by the way, after this will rise to either 10 or 11, amazingly. His record this year and his Aquafina road to the finals.
Well, here's a guy at Puerta. He beat the guy who beat Roddick, a guy named Makasuso. He beat the guy who beat Coria, the 8th seed, and last year's finalist, Davydenko. He beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy who beat Agassi. Jarkko Nieminen. That was back in the first round.
6 degrees of Andre Agassi. I like that.
And he beat Lubicic first round, who dismantled the United States Davis Cup team single-handedly. And he said after that match, if he got, or he actually said before the match was played, if he were to get by Lubicic, he thought he was going to get to the semis. So, you know, he believes in himself. He's had a good year. He's been whisperings and murmurings about him. And to his credit, if you look at the last 2 matches, he came through and came from 2 sets to 1 down to win 2 matches in 5.
So it is lefty versus lefty. How about that on this championship day at Roland-Garros? And for more, let's go to Bud Collins.
Well, this is a sinister afternoon. All these left-handers around here in the booth. Carrillo and McEnroe on the court. Nadal and Puerta. But there was a time when being left-handed wasn't considered very nice. And 3 of the greatest champions in the history of the game where lefties changed to right. Margaret Smith Court, Little Mo Conley, and Kenny Rosewall. This is the 413th major final in men's tennis since the beginning, and only the 13th all left-hander. The last one, the only one here, 1946, Marcel Bernard over Yaroslav Drobny. Another left-hander who has changed was President Papa Bush. His mother, Helen, who was a fine junior player, said, "We don't want any left-handers in the family." And of course, they went right since then. But lefties, they're called zurdos in Spain, and these guys are ready for each other. I hope that it matches up to some of the great left-handed finals like McEnroe and Connors and Laver and Fraser. And here they are.
And the last left-handed final in a major, the 1998 Australian final between Marcelo Rios and Peter Korda. And you look at a player like Nadal, and I mean, Rios was such a gifted, talented player, and Nadal has so much of that same game, but he has the joie de tennis that Rios didn't have.
Exactly, and that's why he's going to be so great for the game. And Rios is out of the game already. He loves to compete, play, so enthusiastic. He's a big-time shot in the arm for our sport.
And so it will be Puerta with, you'll see, as a unique service motion to begin the match.
It's probably one of the hardest serves he's hit in this tournament. He doesn't go for a lot. was about 116. Clipped the line, skidded. He feels good about winning that point.
Much of the story of Puerta revolves around the suspension that he incurred at a tournament in February of 2003. He tested positive for what was discovered to be an anti-asthma medication, but was also an anabolic steroid agent. He was issued a 2-year suspension by the ATP. An independent tribunal reduced it to 9 months, but he lost all of his points, his rank. Puerta admitted that he should have notified the testing agencies about this medication that he was taking. He has suffered in times in his youth from asthma. And he came back last August, ranked 440 in the world, and has played a challenger circuit that reminds me of the Johnny Smythe Band's tour schedule.
Most traveled unsigned band ever. Same people who are asking who the Johnny Smythe Band is asking who Mariano Puerta is.
And quickly facing 2 break points. Part of the contingent here to watch him on his biggest day.
Tough when 2 players are out there in their first Grand Slam final. The conditions are tricky. I mean, the wind is kicked up again. There's a threat of rain. Obviously, both players uptight, especially Puerta. Does not want to get broke in the first game. You need to keep your feet moving, which is harder because you're nervous. Try to get loose.
Well, the people around Rafael Nadal say that he dreams with his feet on the ground. Perfect description of how he's approaching this match. He knows that he belongs out here. Whereas Mariano Puerta, I mean, last summer he was playing challengers in Tehran, dreaming of, I mean, he had no dreams of being the king of clay like Nadal. Look at all the titles he's won, and those are big ones. Monte Carlo, Barcelona, Rome.
Monte Carlo was the one Nadal said in April was his biggest. He felt it put him in that highest echelon.
Rafael Nadal.
But of course, his emergence really, and in America, tennis fans saw him last December when he was chosen to play #1 singles for Spain in the Davis Cup final against the United States. An honor that he himself admitted he was going to try to decline, to tell the captains that no, that Juan Carlos Ferrero, a Davis Cup hero in the past for Spain, should play. And Carlos Moya, who's been a mentor to Nadal, was the one who went to Nadal and said, no, you are the best man for us. You need to play.
Got the job done, too, didn't he? From 27,000 screaming Spaniards in Seville. He took out Andy Roddick. He and Carlos Moya helped turn that country into an even bigger tennis town than it already was. nasty forehand from Mariano Puerta. It's not nearly the forehand of his opponent, but speaking of kings,
0-30.
Nadal has been the king of clay this season. King of Spain is watching today.
Does a 19-year-old feel that?
Mariano Puerta, again, less than a year ago, was just hoping that maybe he could finish his career back in the top 50. He would never have dreamed he'd be playing in front of his country's king at Roland-Garros, the biggest clay court tournament in the world.
Puerta's got a nice looking backhand, a la Guillermo Vilas, who we've seen here throughout the 2 weeks.
Another lefty.
Another lefty, as well as Thomas Muster. He's got a weapon with that forehand. That's Guillermo. Won here in '77. But those two guys were expected to win then. Muster had won a lot on clay, like Nadal has, we've shown. So they expected to be in this position. This is bordering on overwhelming for Puerta. First thing he doesn't want to happen is what he saw happen to Mary Pierce yesterday. You know, he was here at the courts and he saw how one-sided that was. And so the thrill of your life turns into a nightmare pretty quickly if things start going terribly wrong.
And there's always that transformation which Nadal is experiencing today, from going from the up-and-comer, the hopeful, the person who is someday going to win, to the person who's supposed to win. And that's the role he has today.
That's the one shot that he's better at, I think, than Nadal at the backhand. So he'd love to get into trading shots off the backhand side, and it sets up with that angle. And his forehand's difficult to read, and he's got the edge now on Nadal. And he's unusual in that he can pull back and play defensive on the back and hit high above the shoulder. He also likes to step in like he did on this one. He's got to start to try to get his feet moving a little bit, though, because his nerves are not allowing him to move the way he'd like. We're talking about Puerta.
The Nadal family, they were on a holiday in Shanghai earlier in these championships. They made it here in time for Nadal's match against Federer Friday. A very close family. The Mediterranean Isle of Majorca.
That's where Puerta's going to have to do his damage on the approach. He's not that comfortable in net. He's not Roger Federer up there, but he can hurt you when he's stepping there inside the baseline right here. So he's got to be aggressive with those approach shots so that if he does volley, they're pretty easy.
Especially on clay, you don't want to have to hit more than one volley. And if your approach shot is as heavy as these guys can both hit them, you don't have to be a great volleyer. You just need to be a good, solid volleyer. I think as good as Mariano Puerta's backhand is, John, it's still going to be the thing that's attacked more than anything else in his game from Nadal. Because Puerta likes his forehand. Puerta's not as quick as Nadal, though, so he can't run around his backhands the way Rafael can to set up his bigger shot.
Now there's a look at the excellence of Nadal.
Well, he saw the drop shot coming, and so he had just enough time to do something with it.
Nadal mène 2-0.
And if Puerta was just a little more comfortable in net, he would, and should have known better that that ball was going to come back, he would have closed it off, moved in a little closer. Instead, he stood around the service line.
And look at how quickly there Nadal put the brakes on that slide and reversed his direction. That's called being 19.
Head-to-head, Puerta actually beat him in a challenger a couple of years ago for David versus Goliath. You know that story. I mean, it is possible he could pull this off. Admittedly, Nadal was 10 at the time.
It was about 40 pounds of muscles ago.
Yeah. Well, this is the definition of a clay court specialist. Puerta rarely ventures off clay. All the challengers that he played to get back onto into the top 100, back in the main draws, all of them were on clay. And as John alluded to earlier, before his suspension, he had cracked the top 20. Before really Coria and Gaudio and Kanya, some of the other Argentines had arrived, Puerta had made the top 20.
I think that this is a big problem for Puerta, and it'll probably only get worse for him as the match goes on. As you can see, just last August, his mind must have been so far from a moment like this. The world's biggest clay court for its biggest prize. If Puerta drifts too far beyond the baseline, that means he's doing way too much reacting and too much running.
That's where he's really good, though. I mean, that backhand right there, right on the baseline, it's a very consistent, solid shot. And this is nicely done. He uses that upper body strength. And then when he has a little more time, he try to step into it. So he's not always hitting off the back foot. So it's good variety with that shot. He's confident with it. These are not the exchanges that I think he wants to get in with Nadal. He doesn't have as big a forehand as Nadal.
That's the thing about Nadal. I mean, he doesn't seem to fear anyone's best shots.
So if Puerta can't win the longer points, is that what you're saying, John?
Well, I'm saying he shouldn't be trading forehands. He should try to line up, to me, get into some backhand exchanges, and then the short ball, be real aggressive on. That's where he can hurt Nadal. Nadal does hit short at times. He is human. That right there, that's where he needs to get in position. Nadal takes these big swings, so he mishits a fair amount of balls. He's got to be very alert to that, Puerta. Step in and take advantage. Nadal's about 6'1", and Puerta's lucky if he's 5'10".
Nadal just seemed to be telling himself to step closer into the court. Too far away from that one.
Of course, with these windy conditions, the ball's not going to end up where you think it's going to be offense. So keep your eye on the ball.
Puerta. Was it ever? And it gets him an important game on the board. Live from Roland-Garros men's championship, Rafael Nadal with an early break on Mariano Puerta.
You see,
Nadal's big.
He's big and he's strong. He's put on a lot of muscle the last couple of years, and Puerta's a stocky, strong guy, but he's got the odds stacked against him today.
You look at Nadal, and you need only about 2 seconds to realize why he's been the cover boy for tennis this year. The most photographed man, for sure.
There's the type of exchanges he wants to be in with Nadal. He's got more variety on that backhand. He can win a lot of points that way. It's a purposeful drop shot because it's not one with a lot of spin, but he saw how far behind the baseline Puerta was. And he realized if he just pushed it to that part of the court, he didn't have to hit a great one and didn't put a whole lot of spin on it, but he got the job done. You don't want to hit 75-mile-per-hour serves, that returns that poorly. Been with Mariano about 1.5 years. That's where a coach has got to feel good about himself, because he was off the board, he said, he's the 4th 500 in the world. So he's got to be feeling like he should be in for at least a bonus at the very least, you know, extension of the contract.
Puerta, just to get into the final, makes $570,000.
That's a long way from challengers in Uzbekistan last year.
Puerta did everything right, except that volley wasn't quite firm enough. And on this surface, more often than not, your opponent's going to get another chance to hit a passing shot.
Obviously, Nadal feels pretty good about getting Puerta inside. Doesn't seem to feel a lot of pressure passing him.
Well, he's not a big guy, and he's not that comfortable in net, so it's a good ploy.
And it's wearing him out. That's another. I mean, it's working on a number of levels. It's taken Puerta so much effort just to get to this match.
Well, for more on this match today, the men's singles championship, and Bud Collins' most memorable matches from over a quarter century here at Roland-Garros, log on to NBCSports.com. And let's go down to Bud.
Here's the odd thing about these left-handers I was talking about. Nadal is a right-hander. He started playing left-handed, and Carlos Moya, who won this in '98 as a right-hander, is actually a left-hander. I asked the Spanish journalists about this. They said, oh, they're from Mallorca. It's a crazy island.
That's what they do, yeah. When he first started to play, this kid, he had two hands off both sides. Finally decided on his left hand. Good play. Well, he certainly writes and does everything else with his right hand. And there it is again. That one, Puerta, even though there's nothing too final looking about these volleys. A little lucky. There's Uncle Tony, who's been Rafael's coach from the time he was a little boy and first got interested in tennis. He was great at soccer and comes from a big soccer family.
Puerta anticipated those volleys at least. Nadal's going to work him because he's played 2 straight 5-setters. He's never played this much tennis. He's never gotten past the 3rd round of any major until this one. The one he did in 2000, he played Ferrero. You know, he can play in the clay. He had to retire with a leg injury. And that was one of the things that started the downward spiral. The next year got another injury added on. We talked about the suspension, the steroid suspension. This is certainly a surprise to see Puerta in the final. Major surprise. Who had lost here in the finals against Gaudio, was up 2 sets, and played a fantastic 5-hour, 15-minute match in the Rome finals. Was lined up and would have had a real chance because he had the experience, but he let a big opportunity slip by. Lost to Davydenko in the round of 16.
Now, Puerta walking.
Looks like he's limping a little bit.
And this is hardly, as he's got the trainer coming out, hardly what we expected to see in the first set.
First set, and the game's not even over. This isn't even a changeover. He looks like he's finished.
24 minutes of play.
Remember the couple things I was talking about, his problems, Mary?
Yeah, here's another one.
This is probably the worst of all. Well, you know the guy's got to be hurting from the matches leading up to this. And I think when he moved up for that last drop shot, it looks like he strained one of his groin or something.
Yeah, you already pointed at the net as if to explain that's where it happened.
Break out this senior doubles. Get that ready.
The watch is on. This is his one injury timeout.
You thought you weren't going to see any of that, Ted.
Well, we would love to see how you inspired Nadal's wardrobe. We understand the true, the true inventor is Puerta's wife watches.
Can't take credit for that. But I must admit, I'm starting to like the pirate look. Per Bastold, who works on a lot of players, including myself, is trying to save the day here. That happens all the time on clay, so you see these guys sliding like that,
reaching a little bit there with the right hand.
Start reaching a bit there. This is not promising.
Of course,
he's thinking this guy's about to say no mas.
But how dangerous this moment is, and look what we experienced last year, the amazing roller coaster ride on this final day with Coria and Gaudio, where Gaudio was completely overwhelmed for 2 sets, and Coria cramped, took medication that apparently had a delayed effect. Looked like he lost a set because of it. Well, we're all wondering what was going on.
He allowed himself time to recover. He could afford to throw a set.
Yeah. And Coria ended up playing a marvelous 5th set, even though Gaudio prevailed. Now it's a little bit, I think, for Puerta, somewhat like the Mary Pierce moment yesterday, in that you don't know if you're Puerta, will you ever get this chance again? Well, because he's obviously a one-surface player. There are so many great players on
Mary's, that was her 5th final, third French final. This is truly a guy who you won't see in a final.
But for Mary yesterday and for Puerta today, I think the thought being that you're not sure you're ever going to get this chance again.
It's down 2 break points to go down 4-1. That's the least of his worries right now.
But Collins just asking Puerta's coach if this was a pre-existing injury. No, it's something new.
Can you imagine how fatigued his whole body is at this stage? I mean, he's never played this much pressure tennis. And he's played to great effect for the better part of 2 weeks now, beating guys he's not supposed to beat. Well, I imagine that he was going to come in with a fatigued mind at the very least, and emotionally maybe spent, but now he's got physical problems as well.
So far as he has that in the move, the ball's come right back to him. And he saved those 2 break points. Nadal has gotten slightly tentative and hasn't truly tested what appears to be the groin injury.
And that's always part of these kinds of matches now, isn't it? To see how the other player reacts, playing against someone who may be hurt. And in this case, Puerta has come back to win 3 straight points.
Well, in Puerta's last match, in the last round against Davydenko, he felt a tightness in the, he said towards the end of the 1st set of that match, but then he said it went away.
That's the first time he really had a move, and that's not promising. He looked to be in pain as he hit that backhand. It's unusual. It's server. It's like the old days. The guy, he actually lands on his left foot, his back foot.
He's going to try to win this by hitting, not by moving.
Even that point, he's got Nadal running everywhere.
Well, Nadal must feel a little bit confused in the way he was against Sebastian Grosjean. There was a 10-minute delay while Grosjean was arguing an out ball. And it just seemed to rattle Nadal enough, helped him drop that set before he recovered.
He's still not sure whether Puerta will finish the match, so he's gotten a little tentative here. He's up a break already, so he's in good shape. And
we're acting like, you know, Nadal is the veteran in these moments. This is his first ever French Open and his first major final.
The men's championship at the French Open presented by Raymond James. We're live in Paris, and Mariano Puerta had an injury timeout. Wrap placed on his upper right leg. There was no further treatment during the changeover.
0-15.
Puerta's actually hit the ball quite well since the injury. I mean, he's just going for his shots and gives him less to think about. And then Nadal's the one that looks a little confused at the moment, not quite sure what's happening. And it's actually giving Puerta a chance to get back in the set.
And I think it's an extension of the point you just made, Marion, that when we say this is the switch for Nadal. He's supposed to win today, and now he has a guy who's supposed to be injured on the other side of the net.
Good too.
I've also heard plenty of players who've gotten injured during a match say afterwards and survived it. Say afterwards, you know, it took my mind off the tension. It took my mind off the pressure. You know, all of a sudden, there's much more clarity in what you need to do. For him, he's just got to hit.
I think the problem for Puerta is it happened so early in the match. Yeah, he's got his opponent a little bit confused, and we've talked about it's his first French. I think you can see that his movement isn't all bad. It looks a little tentative, but he's still moving out there. But it's so early in the match, it's going to give, even if Nadal falls off for a while, it'll give him a chance to regroup eventually. Sooner, I assume, rather than later.
Did you like that play from Nadal at low 40 to see? Hit that little drop and see how Puerta moves?
Yes, I mean, you could see he was going to use that either way because he's played 2 5-setters and is fatigued anyway, certainly. You don't want to miss those, though. Don't go for as much on the drop shot.
Puerta, relentless forehands to the Nadal backhand.
He's got these fans on his side now, hasn't he? They know he's injured, and they know he's out there giving everything he's got.
He's back at 3-all.
This place is so packed. I mean, even the president's box, it's standing room only.
Last year, this day was an Argentine day. 2 countrymen playing for the championship. And this year, a Spaniard and an Argentine. And they're standing in the wells trying to watch. It's a huge sporting day in Paris. Not only do we have the King of Spain here to watch the men's championship at Roland-Garros, but there's a huge outdoor exposition on the Champs-Élysées today, celebrating Paris's bid to host the 2012 Olympics. They're expecting close to 1 million people on the Champs today.
I was out there earlier.
They're out there.
They're out there already. I think there's 1 million there already. They got track and field. They got a whole bunch of stuff going on right on the Champs.
All the different sports represented.
Every sport represented. A spectacular arrangement. Of course, Madrid, the King of Spain, is here. Madrid is a bid city.
Michael Bloomberg, the mayor
Right.
of New York, sweating a bit now. And gonna have to step it up to see if to get New York.
Former head of the IOC, Juan Antonio Samaral.
I think it gets decided next month.
Puerta should get hurt more often. He's totally thrown it down. This was a play I didn't anticipate.
Yes.
That he tried to pull this maneuver. That's what Nadal. That guy's not injured. You know, he's starting to get a little upset now.
Nadal's lost 12 of the last 15 points.
And drops in.
Guys you played when you were younger, cramping and but limping, and then all of a sudden running during the point, can't move between points. What's going on here? I won't mention names.
Well, Puerta was on his way to an early knockout in the first set. And since the injury timeout, he's put himself right back in this set. So right on the center line, and Puerta has won 3 straight games. Live in Paris, Rafael Nadal storming out in this men's final and appeared poised to keep this incredible run on clay going in the first set.
Now, how many of these clay court kings are we going to be talking about possibly the final weekend of Wimbledon? Federer for sure.
I know he'll be there.
Well, that's the interesting question we talked about Friday, is that Federer reached the semis here, and what would be his least favorite surface? Would Nadal be capable of doing that at Wimbledon? Which is the championship he has said himself that he would most like to win.
Went there for the first time when he was 15 years old, Nadal. Took a look around, was playing in the junior event, and said, this is the one. This is where I want to play well. And I think this part of his game right there, he could work to change his serve, make it a more lefty slice serve for the grass. I mean, it's a good idea for him to do that anyway. Right now he's got a pretty decent lefty serve, but it's a kick, a high kick. And that's one of the many reasons, that shot right there, why he's in today's final. But I think if he really uses it, gets a nice biting lefty slice going, the grass will do the rest.
You could take a page from Andy Roddick, because Roddick generates such power with his legs and his trunk area.
40.
If Nadal started using that part of his body more on the serve, it would help. Because he's righty, we talked about him being righty, I think that lefty slice doesn't come quite as easily to him. He certainly did it there. Ooh, he learns quickly.
Well, I'm expecting your phone to ring sometime on that, huh?
Well, seems he's doing pretty well on his own. He's got a good team.
After all, Mark Philippoussis just asked you to help him with his serve over the winter.
That's a whole other topic. Ted, I'll save that for Wimbledon, Ted. It's Mark's trying to come back so he can still play. They have new balls, I think, help Nadal a little bit. The balls go through the air faster. Sort of got him back on track. And this is obviously huge for Puerta. I mean, to have any real chance, if he can get lucky here, maybe just sneak out this first set. He's going for more on his serve. Oh, that's a big forehand. That's powerfully struck.
30.
turned out to be a good move as well, that he took his injury time out at 15:40 instead of losing that break and go down 2 breaks.
40.
And that's right, John. That play actually has kept him in the set.
It's amazing. He's in the lead. If he's got 40 love here, and he's closing in on winning this set, possibly.
Puerta holds at love. 5-4 on serve for the Argentine. Live in Paris, Rafael Nadal was in total command of this first set until an injury timeout taken by Mariano Puerta. And his right thigh wrapped. And he's put himself right back in this match since.
15-0.
Don't see the whiff often. Look where that ball bounced.
Yeah, it took a wicked hop off the line. Usually it goes below what you're expected to dip, and this one bounced higher above his racket. Nadal is noticeably tighter and not hitting his shots with as much ferocity.
We never saw a moment of this in his match with Federer.
Well, I think that second set against Federer, Roger seemed to have a better sense of what he wanted to do, and Nadal backed off a little bit, but then he recovered. Gave himself a little fist pump after that one. He knows that he's not the aggressor in the last several games.
He also knows the crowd's feeling a lot of sympathy for Puerta, so he's been hesitant to get pumped up, and things haven't gone his way the last 4 or 5 games. So he's saying, look, I'm behind here. I'm allowed to pump my fist.
Yep, that's a nice play. Sort of what happened with Nadal. He had to back off his feelings a little bit against Grosjean.
So at 5-all, we look at our tournament summary presented by Cadillac. Justine Enardan yesterday with her second French Open championship. And the lefties today. And the winner, a first-time champion.
Grosjean was losing so badly to Rafa Nadal a couple of rounds ago, and the great French hope was, to my mind, using all kinds of gamesmanship and dragging out a line call dispute for the better part of 10 minutes. Of the fans who had nothing to cheer about all of a sudden were on Grosjean's side and liked the idea that the match might change. And Nadal had to pull back on his own feelings because he knew that if he contested it too much or barked about it at all, that he'd have them on him. And you're right, Ted. He's sort of operating in that kind of atmosphere right now. He's got to go back to what he does so well. I mean, play with a lot of expression and a lot of feeling out there. It energizes him and the fans.
Well, for a 19-year-old, he's very mature and he says the right things, and he's respectful of the players that are above him. He's a very smart young guy, and he's aware that he's in the midst of a tricky situation here.
What an angle. And that's the defense we talk about with with this guy.
How could you ever win that point from where he ended up hitting the... Watch how wide he goes to hit this shot. How do you win a point from there?
Puerta kind of blew it, didn't he, John?
One way to win is have your opponent hit it back to you. And we know that he plays hard to the very end of points, and he gave him that one final chance. Still clipped the line.
Pascal Maria is in the chair today. He's coming out for the second time in this game. Puerta's heart skipped. A second one lob over his head.
It's still offensive defense from Nadal. From very tough positions on the court, he's going for winners.
Since the injury, Puerta has dictated play for the most part. You gotta give this guy credit. He's dug deep here to make this match and set competitive.
Long off Nadal's racket, and another hold for Puerta. Well, the end of the first set, straight ahead. A first set that was all Nadal until Puerta's injury timeout. Nadal, he's on a heavyweight list right here. Hall of Famers all.
Mats Wilander, when he won this title, the year before, he'd won the junior title at the French. Back in 1982, Wilander beat Ivan Lendl, Vitas Gerulaitis, Jose Luis Clerc, and Guillermo Vilas in the final.
That is earning it.
And he was unseated. And that was his first title of any kind.
We have an interesting array of commentators. Mats Wilander's commentating on this match for European television. Arancha Sanchez, Spanish television. We even saw Magnus Norman here today. He was a finalist in 2000 in Roland-Garros, and his career ended by a hip problem.
Puerta's playing some quality tennis out there. I mean, he's really playing with confidence. You wouldn't have thought he would have been the more aggressive player. He's got Nadal on his heels a little bit.
He's doing a good job, Puerta, too, of not backing off that baseline. He's controlling the middle of the court a lot more than you would think he'd be able to against this kid.
cut. He's way better than he was before this injury.
He's going to wrap the other. He's going to wrap the other leg in a minute.
Wrap the other leg in the second set, and he'll be all set. I mean, he's playing some outstanding tennis. I mean, that overhead was a tough shot. He's 2 points away from winning this set now.
Does this remind you of the test Nadal got from David Ferrer in the first set?
Ferrer played a tremendous first set, then had nothing left.
Nadal prevailed and pulled that first set out.
Amazing what adrenaline can do, too, because the Puertas is pumping right now. The crowd's excited that this is highly competitive.
2 points is Puerta from what you would almost call stealing a set. Certainly the way it began.
That's where Puerta would be in trouble if that groin is bothering, when he has to stretch out. When Nadal hits it inside out forehand. You see Nadal, he's starting to get back into it because he's starting to use the El Vamos and pump the fist and stare at Puerta now. It's going to be a nice and interesting tiebreak.
The game for Nadal.
Just about this time of this match, the 1 hour mark, the women's final was already decided yesterday. Right now, there's nothing between these two.
The interesting part of that is to see how poor Nadal's record had been prior to this year. 9-15.
Puerta is generating some serious racket-head speed of his own, and that's what's allowed the ball to dip just inside the line there, giving Nadal a taste of his own medicine. Not a bad tactic at times. The only problem with Puerta is he gives that shot away pretty early. Nadal's going to run those down most of the time, even if he does hit it over the net. As well as he's hitting off the ground, I would have liked to step in and really be aggressive on that backhand. He's hitting so well right now. See, right there, you can already tell he's hitting the drop shot. A bit of a telegraph. That's a smarter time to use that drop shot when you're well inside the baseline. He's got some options there. He can approach with that shot, or you can try to use the two hands to dip it cross court or up the line. And it changes and disguises it better. I mean, this is huge for Puerta. I mean, this is way bigger for him to win this first set.
the power Nadal generates from his forehand, Puerta in this first set has shown one amazing forehand. And no matter how hard Puerta hit that forehand, he couldn't end this point.
Well, again, at net, he's not comfortable. He didn't even look ready to hit that shot. He needed to do a little bit more with this volley. I mean, he could have, instead of waiting for it, get closer to it, be a little more aggressive. He almost got hit with it. He just didn't look.
Two serves now at 3-2.
Some effort by Puerta.
But I'm looking at him and wondering if this isn't David Ferrer. Is this an all-or-nothing set for Puerta?
That's a fair question. Again, we don't know his physical status, and again, it just things can happen in a hurry. A lot of these kind of matches, I feel, get decided, you know, after about an hour. You know, you have a sense of, I mean, he's playing beautiful tennis, and he's fighting his heart out. And it's going to be a real disappointment for Mariano Puerta if he plays about as well as he can and still drops the first set. Knowing he's got to go 3 more sets against Nadal with an injury.
And the good part for him is the conditions are cool, and so that heat is not going to be a factor. He could last longer.
In both his quarter and semi, he was down 2-1.
That's so good.
And Puerta wins both points on Nadal's serve.
Well, he solved the problem. He just hit a winner on the approach shot. Don't hit a foul. And as well as he's hitting the ball, it's a smart play. Go for more.
But his approach shots, John, are so much better than his volleys. I mean, anything in the short court, a good clay courter knows that that's their chance to break open the point.
Nadal back. 4-all.
Puerta was hoping he didn't have to hit a volley here, and he wasn't even prepared to have to hit it. Look, he doesn't even move his racket. He's hoping that thing's going out. That took a dive bomb back into the court.
The strings they use today, they generate such spin. The ball dips at the last second. Often balls you think are going out land in the base, inside the baseline.
Defense.
I mean, it's a phrase you'll hear a lot, I'm sure, as our summer of tennis goes along. Defense to offense, Nadal's amazing at it.
5-4, Nadal.
Well, he did leave a lot of that court open. And he should know that Nadal's certainly going to make the big-time attempt to run it down. And he's got to get himself ready to hit another shot. Still, he does play. That's what's remarkable about Nadal, is how incredible his defense is.
And he answered back, winning both points on Puerta's serve. To win that point 3 times.
Well, he got the job done. The crowd's loving this. And how could you not love this guy's effort? Volleys are tough. Half volleys, he's all right.
5-all. Sometimes when you least expect it. What a set.
This shot here, Nadal did not put away. I mean, he had the chance to finish it off, and he got a little tight there. And this is Puerta showing signs, the first signs he's pumped up now. He's got set point.
First tumble into the clay for Nadal. Serve hasn't meant a lot in this tiebreak, but it is on Puerta's racket for the set.
S'il vous plaît, merci.
Crowd is going to go crazy if Puerta wins this point.
They'll play on and change ends.
6 partout.
I can imagine there'll be young players, tennis players, particularly all over Spain, wearing that outfit by the time these championships are over.
After Nadal won in Monte Carlo, his clothing company quadrupled their stock of his stuff, and it's been selling very well. Even John McEnroe wears it now.
Which we will show you, I promise, sometime today. 6
That'll keep him watching. He's putting absolutely everything he's got into virtually every shot, Puerta. And the strategy is the strategy of getting injured and then going for broke is been by far the best one he could have come up with. He's probably better off getting a set point on Nadal's serve.
So what Nadal is thinking is, well, just how much has he got? It's a fair question, the way he's been behaving.
It's only one set, but it may be as unlikely as we've seen on Port Philippe Chatrier. Puerta takes the lead. Greatest moments of the French Open presented by Raymond James. The 1999 French Open men's final featured Andre Medvedev in the signature shorts and a resurgent Andre Agassi. Medvedev was dominant early, winning the first 2 sets, but Agassi rallied back to capture a monumental victory, completing a career Grand Slam, the 5th man in history with a title at all 4 major events. Sadly, a painful trip to Roland-Garros for Andre Agassi this year. First round match in which a sciatic injury curtailed his ability. Andre out. No American man went past the 2nd round.
Yeah, but you got to give some props to James Blake, who has worked his way back in. He was playing some of the smaller circuits of challengers, winning on clay.
Qualified here.
Had to qualify to get here, and he's kind of hoping that he won't have to qualify at Wimbledon, and they give him a wild card.
Well, 3 cheers for a fantastic first set here. With Puerta, the unlikely winner, when it looked like he may not even finish the set.
So Per Bastolt, the ATP trainer's back in the room there thinking, I'm pretty good, huh?
And there's another guy that deserves a bonus.
Yes.
Puerta's coach. Bastolt's going to be won his share. Puerta wins this. I think he'd be more than happy to divvy out some of it to those 2. His coach feeling a whole lot better about life than he was at 1-3-15-40. Puerta calling the trainer.
I'm intrigued watching this because it strikes me that in Friday's match, Roger Federer never dictated play against Nadal the way we've seen Puerta be able to do.
Puerta comes out of that Mooster Vilas mold where he can really go after those ground strokes. He's small but stocky, and he generates a lot of power.
I know, John, during Friday's match, you, I think, might have liked to go down and shake Roger Federer a little bit and given him a little help on a different way to play. Your view here that Puerta's
Puerta
the right way to play?
No, absolutely. I mean, he's the fact that he has to think less and he's just basically going for it has actually helped him quite a bit. Giving him less to think about.
Strong first game for Nadal.
Sometimes when you've got so many options like Roger, you complicate things. You know, neither player goes for a lot on his first serve. So subsequently, you see high first serve percentage. It's surprising to see Puerta has been at net, and we saw Nadal bring him in a lot. A lot of the points that he won there were when he hit huge approach shots. And the way things went in the first set, I'm a little surprised to see Nadal had more winners.
Each player won 46 points in the first set. Puerta won the one that mattered, the last one.
Between games.
Puerta's last two matches, Ted, he won the first set, and he had moments where he was playing some pretty brilliant stuff, not as good as this, and he wasn't able to keep it up. And to his credit, regrouped. And both times he was down 2-1. I don't think he would want to repeat that just to see if he could pull it off 3 times.
That's really smart. And again, it's Puerta who's inside that baseline dictating. That's not easy to do against the ferocity of shot from Nadal. But he's just holding his ground, isn't he? Just standing his ground. Of course, those numbers have to be explained because
best of 3.
Exactly.
Doesn't apply here. And with the ace, it's 1-all. All right, we promised, we deliver. Nadal, and look at this. The left. John P. McEnroe wearing.
That went for the good luck charm.
In the 45 doubles championship yesterday with Yannick Noah. You pulled that off. The pants off. I know you won the championship, but you pulled off the pants, too.
And thankfully, he pulled the pants off for today.
Usually we do this when we're desperate. I mean, I'm a little confused, speechless right now.
You went for the sleeves, though.
Well,
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I didn't want to, bum Nadal out. He's got to be a little bit bummed right now that he is acting like it's his first final. He's probably lucky this is best of 5.
He didn't start this way, Nadal, obviously, but it's what we saw when Juan Carlos Ferrero finally made the final here in 02 against Albert Costa and just got gripped with such a case of nerves, and he never played his game.
Well, he also had a lot of physical issues, too. I mean, he had tons of injections. He was not 100%. The year he had the all-time record, I think he had like 45 injections during the 2 weeks. This is different because Nadal came out so full of confidence and started pretty well and was up, 3-1-45. And Puerta sat down and said, I need to call the trainer. We weren't even sure if he was going to keep playing. And now he's lost the first set, and Puerta's taken control of the play rather consistently. Playing outstandingly well.
Nadal.
Fell on serve to begin the second set. Live at just past 4:30 in the afternoon in Paris. And this Port Philippe Chatrier crowd has been, I think, and perhaps for many, pleasantly surprised by what they've seen. Mariano Puerta, unknown, unheralded finalist from Argentina, and has taken it to Nadal. After the first 4 games in which Nadal led you to believe this could be an easy day.
I'm not sure you can call what Puerta had earlier in the match an injury at this point. He's showing absolutely no signs of problem with movement. Unless that's the greatest tape job in the history of tennis.
Puerta during the 5th game in the first set. He was down 2 break points, and he had ATP trainer come out and wrap his right thigh.
It's what Lily Tomlin says. No matter how cynical you get, it's impossible to keep up. I like the attitude now from Nadal. That last changeover seemed to have done him a world of good. He's back making a lot of noise and throwing his fist around. It sure looks as though he's decided this is where he can take charge, get up an early break, and go back to the attitude he brought onto this court.
And the opening here.
He watches the other players quite often. And he spends most of his days here at Roland-Garros, so he obviously saw Puerta win the first set in the quarters and semis and drop the next 2, so he goes through his peaks and valleys. Nadal wants to do the same today.
And this is Nadal's first ever French Open, and again, Puerta handling that short ball. 2 years ago, we were wanting to see Rafa Nadal playing his first French, because that's when we started hearing about how good the Mallorcan was. But the day before the French Open started, he was practicing with a friend, and one of his friends pulled up the net as he was trying to jump over it, and he broke his elbow. And then last year, Nadal again was the man that everyone wanted to see play. Again, Puerta, it is a bit of a giveaway when he goes to that forehand drop shot, but he got away with it there. You could see him re-gripping. You can see him changing the angle of his racket. Still a game point chance for Nadal. And back to deuce. So last year, Nadal was playing a warm-up tournament to the French, and he was feeling bad in his ankles. Turned out to be a stress fracture, but he was to play Gasquet, the young Frenchman. That goes wide. He had already defaulted to Gasquet in a different tournament. Didn't want to default to him again. He didn't want Gasquet to think he was ducking him. So he played Gasquet and beat him. And then he was out for 3 months with the stress fractures. He came to this tournament last year just to watch his buddy Moya play in the first round. Moya also from Mallorca. And he watched that in a cast, got so depressed that he left. But he stayed through this whole thing. him in this game. Back to deuce.
I'll be surprised if you don't see Nadal start running around more backhands and try to take charge with his forehand. And when the court's open, use that drop shot. He doesn't generate the power, and he's not able to step into his backhand as effectively as Puerta.
He'll be frustrated, Nadal, if he loses this game because he had some looks.
Puerta's saved 3 break points. We're an hour and a half in. Puerta's starting to play at a slower pace.
Because he's proved his mettle. He's not going to be able to get Nadal to complain. The crowd will allow it to happen because he's dug deep. It's a good play. He did an awful lot of stretching in that point, Nadal.
The balance he can keep on the run is beautiful to watch.
And you mentioned it earlier, Ted. He's got those young legs. He can stop and start on clay courts awful quickly. And this shot here by Puerta was a lazy shot. And it just sat up there for Nadal. But, I mean, he probably thought, and against most players, he would have won that point at least a couple times.
Long, and on the 4th chance, Nadal does break.
Well, there was no footwork at all from Puerta on that shot. And that has to encourage Nadal to see that Puerta really, he just tried to slap at that ball.
I think he's still a little whip from the last point. It was a long, tough point that he lost.
Well, Nadal comes from a great sporting family. His uncle, this is another uncle, Miguel Angel, who's one of Spain's great footballers. Played for the Spain national team, played for FC Barcelona.
It doesn't look like his nickname, does he?
No.
You just saw simply a great point on this surface. Puerta's backhand is beautiful to watch, and then there's this defense of Nadal, which is unsurpassed on this surface. He's able to slide into the backhand. He seems completely out of position, way behind the baseline, 10 feet behind both lines, and still generates enough power to hit a winner.
Most players would be falling off of that shot. He can still come forward on it.
That break by Nadal to get another chance, a 4th chance in that game, and earn the break. May be the point that earns him this set, the way Puerta is looking now.
Well, that's why he's so tough, though, because when bad things happen, other players lose their focus and intensity. Nadal brushes it off, plays hard every point.
He should be called the Beast of Barcelona, Nadal, not his uncle.
Yes. His uncle Miguel is that way. His other uncle Tony was the one who, there's Miguel Angel.
Doesn't look beast-like at all.
No, he doesn't.
Looks fairly civilized.
You see Kim Kleister's father, who was a great footballer in Belgium. You'd say he looks like the Beast of Belgium, doesn't he?
Well, his uncle's pretty strong.
But Nadal has stayed true to his home, stayed true to his family, while most tennis players in Spain end up at one of the academies. Nadal and his family decided to keep him on the island of Mallorca. As much as we rave about a country as small as Belgium producing 2 world-class women players right now, think about the island of Mallorca. 600,000 is the population of the island, and they produce 2 of the great male tennis players in the world. Their son, Rafael Nadal, and 10 years his elder, but a French Open champ, Carlos Moya. And there's the ace, and now Nadal on a 4-1 second set lead. Live at Roland-Garros, men's championship of the French Open. A major surprise in the first set. Mariano Puerta capturing it in a tiebreak. And now Nadal has the edge. He's up a break in the second.
Puerta's mistake is 3-1. You didn't call the trainer again. You were at the right moment. He's got pace, he's got variety, he uses his angles well. And he's willing to step in and take it early, like he does here.
How about all these nice one-handed backhands that are back in vogue now? Gasquet, Federer, this guy, Gaudio, Justin Ardern, Mauresmo. Very nice to see. So much more variety. You get plenty of power because the rackets are so strong now.
The guy thought that was go long, or hoped it was, and it was right inside the line.
Hawkeye confirms. Nadal, so far in these championships, has only played 1 match that lasted 3 hours. He's not had any of the long gruelers like he did in his final at Rome. John, that you were at?
That will tell you something. He's got plenty left in the tank. And he can go 5 hours plus, which is why he's still the favorite in this match.
Puerta, his last 2 matches, 5 setters, 3 hours 35 and 3 hours 29. So a hold there for Puerta. Well, Friday was a monumental day for Rafael Nadal, not only beating Roger Federer, and then afterwards celebrating his 19th birthday as NBA star Pau Gasol of Spain wheeled in the birthday cake.
It's funny, there's juice there along with the champagne, in case he's not quite old enough to handle the bubbly.
Yeah, I was just thinking that about my kids, Mary. You know, they often ask for juice in case they can't handle the bubble. I wish that was the case.
Amazing, the other 3 all won their final match.
it's good to see Rafael there step in there himself. You know, he pulled Puerta off the court with that topspin that kicked away from Mariano. And he didn't play a defensive shot. And that's going to make him feel a lot better about life. He gets in ready to hit that shot so quickly. He doesn't give Puerta a chance to breathe. Forces Puerta to guess which way, and then he's in position to hit the winner.
As Puerta retreating, is he further back to receive?
Seems to be a little bit further back. Perhaps a little fatigue setting in, and you wonder if he's stiffened up a bit, and it gives him a little more time.
The problem there is if you're playing from that far back, you're working that much harder. Again, I still feel it's going to be one of the big keys of this match is who's playing the shots from closer in. Once you start drifting that far back, you're doing a lot of hustling and you're making tougher shots from tougher positions. But if you're not fit enough to be taking the ball early, doing the early footwork, you're doing all the late footwork.
So it's Nadal a game away from leveling this match. Rafa Nadal, 1 game from evening this men's championship at Roland-Garros. Nadal would love nothing more than a break. Open the third on his serve.
The serve is not a huge factor on clay, particularly with these two players who don't go for a lot in the serve. I think Nadal's averaging 6 or 7 breaks a match. Cleans that line a little bit. You will not see this at Wimbledon. Even the first serves, both players content to spin them in. Every now and then they try to push the envelope, but not often.
You don't think that kind of serving, those kind of numbers would get anyone to the final?
Well, actually, you know, Nalbandian surprisingly reached the final, amazingly, with the serve similar to that one.
That's the fastest offering from each. Nadal's yet to get to 120.
The strategy is different on clay. They put forth so much effort with the ground strokes. They got to save a little bit on the serve. This is another long, tough point. And that is what Nadal does better than Puerta. He disguises the drop shot. So it's tougher to pick up. Set point for Rafael to level this match. For a guy with the two-handed backhand, Nadal, plays a pretty good one-handed slice. Cleans the line. Well, he went for it there.
Exactly.
Just go for broke.
How about that? Set point. Second serve.
Nice angle if you can find it.
Third ace.
He's one of the very few guys I've seen. I think Sampras and Philippoussis, who's trying to come back in the grass, that just take one ball when they serve. He may not be volleying all that well, but he's exhibited some good touch with half volleys. For that shot. That'll bring a smile to not only your coach's face, but the rest of the people enjoying this match. I mean, well, you got to love a shot like this. You just save that.
Face first into the dirt. And Puerta, even though there's no changeover, has just decided to avail himself of water and a towel. His coach loving it.
He's done absolutely everything he possibly could today to endear himself to the crowd. And he deserves this round of applause. Fantastic effort by Puerta today. That's total reaction.
I wonder if Nadal thinks, what did I do wrong? I mean, this is the crowd. It's certainly not like it was in the Grosjean match, but he had to combat a hostile crowd then.
What?
He's not done anything wrong as far as the crowd goes. This guy is just dug deep in the bag of tricks.
Felix Puerta, huh?
The fans are they're living and dying with him now. It's hard to out-charisma Nadal. But he's got them firmly on his side. Nadal's not used to that. Talk about crowd pleasers.
I'm amazed Nadal doesn't hit himself with his racket more often when he pulls up on that forehand.
Well, here he has 3 chances to close out this set. Shows the most emotion he's had since entering Court Philippe Chatrier. And this men's championship, 1 set apiece. The French Open on NBC, presented by Raymond James, brought to you by Honda. a company committed to providing safety for everyone. By MetLife, have you MetLife today? And by Michelob Ultra, lose the carbs, not the taste. The French Open presented by Raymond James, and Nadal feels like he may have restored some order in the second set, although Puerta continued to play well. Nadal with one break wins the set, levels the match after just a marvelous first set. And effort from Puerta, particularly in the tiebreak.
We're waiting for the crowd to settle down. A couple went out to grab a quick espresso. Best of 5 here, 1 set all.
I'm just going to say that, John. You get a sense at this moment of what it takes to win this championship. All of them, for the men, are best of 5. But to think that they played almost 2 hours, and now they're just starting a best of 3. They had a 2-hour warm-up in essence. And Mariano Puerta during the first set, after a start in which Nadal was dominant, Puerta stopped play. In the 5th game, had a trainer on court to wrap his right thigh. And from that moment on, he completely reversed the first set.
Puerta also played Wednesday a 5-setter, down 2-1, having won the first set. Friday, 2-1 down. There's him getting wrapped early in the match. This has been a physical 2 hours already. You have to wonder, Nadal's had the far easier route and the less difficult matches, how much more of this Puerta can take. We hope a couple more hours will. Not a promising start to this 3rd set.
That's his first double, but it gives Nadal 3 break points. Nadal looking, Pascal Maria down to
He's the only guy who can question the call by skipping. You know, he sort of skips towards it, and that was the signal to go up and take a look at the mark.
Much like yourself.
I was recognizing the similarity thing.
You had that whimsical little skip every time the few times you questioned. That was a tired-looking first game, and a terrible way to start.
And Nadal keeps hopping and jumping as he goes to the chair, and we'll check in with Bud Collins.
I talked to his coach, his Uncle Tony, through a translator, and he said he wasn't at all concerned because of that final in Rome, 5 hours and 14 minutes over Coria. But he does wish that Rafael will just try to dictate a little more. He said, get a little more aggressive. But feels pretty good. The translator was Carlos Costa, who was a fine Spanish player in his day.
So he's got a good team, Rafael. I mean, Carlos is a guy. There's Carlos there, a very good top 10 clay court player. So he's got that respect, and he's managing Rafael. He's got the uncle. It seems like a very comfortable setup for Rafael. It's allowed him to blossom.
Nadal still lives in his hometown of Manacor on the island of Mallorca. Lives in a apartment building that he shares with his family.
His whole family, yep. 3 generations. His grandparents on top, and a little lucky perhaps that they had the wherewithal not to have to go to Barcelona for training. You know, they took some help from the Spanish Tennis Federation, but they didn't need a lot, because Rafa's dad is pretty well off. Rafa had his uncle, Tony, who is a competitive player in his own right. He was coaching a bunch of kids, but By the time Rafael was 11, he showed so much promise that he became Tony's only pupil.
And he's also had the help and support of Carlos Moya, who first hit with Nadal when Rafa was 12. It has been like the big brother for him.
Very much so. When he was 14, Nadal, Moya said he's going to be the #1 player in the world. Moya knew what he was looking at.
He beat Carlos when he was 15. I mean, that's a little harsh. You don't have to beat me, you know, on that circuit. I mean, I'm helping you out here. Just wait at least till you're 16.
But when someone who's been #1, which Moya was, says that about you, you know, he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's looking at.
And the tide is clearly turned here now at the start of the third.
Well, the wind has gone out of the sails at the moment of Puerta. We wonder how much he's got left in the tank at this point.
Well, he's already proven, John, that he can come back from 2 sets to 1 down. But he's already played so much tennis.
He's done it in the quarters against Cañas, who's a tough customer. He did it against Davydenko in the semis. This would be by far the toughest to pull off.
But you know what we know for sure? At least next year, this man will make the ATP Media Guide.
Yes.
They, it's
His rank year-end last year was so low that he didn't make the cutoff to be in the media guide.
There's about 180 guys in that guide, and he finished last year at 186. His performance here will ensure that there's a picture of him in next year's guide.
And
he'll be able to sleep tonight.
And Puerta's journey, though, really does emphasize a serious part of the tennis world right now, in that he was one of 8 players who've been suspended over the last 2 years by the ATP Tour with drug testing. At a time when it's such a subject of debate in the States, and especially team sports, athletes could never conceive of what all these pro tennis players endure. Andy Roddick, for example, said he was tested, I believe 14 times last year, including at his home off-season.
Federer, I believe, 17.
There is no real off-season in tennis.
Especially if you're in the Davis Cup final, which is played early in December.
But in professional tennis, the men's tour and the women's tour have taken very aggressive steps to try to ensure that the competition is as clean as they can possibly see it. And a hold for Puerta early in the third. Early in the third set, Nadal trying to cement his advantage. A set apiece, an early break in hand in this third for the Spaniard. What Puerta has already achieved has been to demolish many of the prognostications of us intelligentsia who thought this could have been a little bit like the men's version of yesterday's match. Puerta took care of that with an outstanding first set.
He seems to have gotten back his focus and gotten that third win. He's picked up his play considerably this last game and a half. And he's got a good chance to get right back in this third set. Not missed that by much. Calculated risk. Probably not a bad one given the circumstances. thought he was going to cruise through this third set. It looks like he's got another thing coming.
Well, here's the opening that Puerta needs. 2 chances to level the set. And Nadal goes down the middle for his 5th ace. First time Nadal's faced a break point since the 6th game. First set.
This is the moment that was lost to Puerta in that second set. Nadal can consolidate this break and hang on here. Just have a feeling he'll do the same thing in this set as he did in the second. Just build on it. He just seems to have that same inner mechanism that Justine Henin-Ardenne has. You know, where you just know that when they sense the moment, and they react to it so positively. Justine winning the women's final yesterday in 1 hour and 2 minutes after her early struggles. There it is.
Boy, that's opportunity lost for Puerta.
This feels big, doesn't it?
Yep. And went quick. Well, in 3 weeks, we'll be joining you from London from the All England Club, and a summer tradition, NBC's coverage of Wimbledon. We'll start on Saturday, June 25th, and then we're with you each day through our live coverage, breakfast at Wimbledon for the ladies and men's championships on July 2nd and 3rd.
And there was a big press conference earlier today here for the French Tennis Federation announcing that starting next year, the tournament will begin on a Sunday, so there'll be 3 Sundays of play. And it's something that the USGA wants for the US Open. There'll be 3 weekends of tennis. Here's an idea. How about the first day of the tournament at the US Open and here, but especially at our national championships? How about the first day, kids come in free?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Great.
I'm all for that. Sounds like a good call.
Wouldn't that be something?
Extending championships, though, just seems to go in realm with all of our sports today, right? Everybody's seasons are longer and overlapping.
Nadal will get in free because he's still a kid. And he's playing like a true champion. His Uncle Tony has heard so many of us talk about how great his nephew is, and he said he's not great yet. He hasn't won a championship yet, but it sure looks like even Uncle Tony is going to have to agree that this kid deserves to be called great.
Well, that's what Friday changed. Nadal himself kept saying, don't call me the favorite. You know, Roger Federer's the #1 player in the world. Well, now, after Friday's win, that's over. At least on this surface.
That's where he's so physical and strong. was able to step into that shot. He opens up his body, and it's just really difficult to read where he's going to hit it. So he can wait on it, let it drop a little longer. It forces Puerta to lean, and then he just takes it up the line for the winner. His legs got him in good position for that shot. Hit the line. Nadal hesitated looking at the return. Puerta saw him hesitating, so he stopped running, paid the price.
Well, here's a moment of truth for Puerta. Had this game in hand. Now it's the juice.
Nadal throwing a couple curveballs at him, too. A couple other things to think about. Last two games, he's been up 45, and it looks like he's going to lose both of them.
Well, it's all Nadal now. 2 breaks. We've got the 3rd set of this men's championship in his control.
Fully electronic stock exchange.
Well, this crowd was electric in the sparkling first set. Mariano Puerta, after having his leg wrapped early in the set by a trainer, prevailed in a tiebreak. But there's been a decisive turn since. Puerta just killing a little time there. 1 break got the 2nd set for Nadal, and now he has 2 breaks as he serves at 4-1, 15-love in the 3rd. Well, John, you referenced Puerta earlier as a player of peaks and valleys. He is in a valley. And
he was in a valley in the quarters and the semis, but he wasn't in against Nadal.
I don't sense Nadal's going to throw him a rope.
As far as Nadal is concerned, he threw him a rope in the 1st set. You know, should have won that set at 3-1, 45.
45.
The thing about Nadal that all players should take to heart is how hard he plays every point. That intimidates a lot of opponents and commands respect.
And even when he's got a big lead or he's down so deep in a game, he still plays every point, tries to dig out every single shot. And that weighs on you. That gets inside your head. Reminds me of how Monica Seles used to play her matches. She just gave every single point so much weight. There was no let-up. You just never felt like she was going to let you breathe. I got the sense when watching Sampras say that, you know, once he had secured a break, you know, in a set, he'd kind of play the rest out. It's not like he'd be looking necessarily for double breaks or whatever. This kid, he wants to win every single point he plays.
I listen to that and I ask, can you continue to play that way?
I mean, can you only do this if you're a teenager?
Again, not a beautiful shot there. Obviously not because of lack of desire, but just simply the rash of injuries, the demands that this sport places on players at the highest level.
Well, it's one of the reasons why he is so superbly conditioned. I've seen videotape of this guy doing, you know, the one-arm push-ups and all that, the core training that has become so necessary in tennis now. Building up your whole body and your stomach muscles and your legs and everything. And this kid is built to take it. The important thing for him is that, as John mentioned before, he plays in a lot of tennis tournaments, and now he's got to know that he'll be playing weekend ball a lot of that time. And he's even playing in doubles. As you see the numbers, and he's way out in front now.
Well, his camp doesn't want him to play doubles. They told him not to play in Hamburg. And that he had played enough tennis. He's risking playing too much. We've got to... Actually, he's so eager to play right now and youthful that you're both right. He can play so hard every point, but he's got to watch out as you get a little older that you start getting injured.
Well, that, again, this is why he reminds me so much of Justine Arden. You got to pull her off the practice courts. She suffered from that last year. She's much more mindful of her training and her off training now.
Well, Puerta's going to have, in all likelihood, one sit-down chance to regroup. See if he can find himself.
It's also a style of play, because Nadal doesn't win 3 points on his serve the way Pete Sampras, you mentioned. There's Henri Leconte, got to the finals here once. His new wife just had a baby a couple weeks ago.
Another lefty.
Another lefty. A lot of lefties. Vilas. Why Florentine? I mean, he's on a roll. He's 35.
And now, a quick end to this set looming. 2 chances for Nadal.
Well, the 2 games that he was up at 2-1, 3-1, 45. Once he lost those, I think pretty much everyone here in the stadium knew he was going to lose the set. Now they're just trying to urge him on so he can do something hopefully early in this 4th set. There's 1 set point saved.
double gives Nadal a 2-1 lead. The men's championship at the French Open presented by Raymond James. We're live in Paris. And now Rafael Nadal serving with a 2-1 lead. And Mariano Puerta had his one sit-down to see if he can regroup and pull off what he did in both the quarters and the semis. Now trying to do it on the biggest stage against the best foe we could meet on this surface.
He knew that drop shot was going to sit up, so he hustled in there to take it high above the net, which makes the shot easier to hit away for a winner. There's not a changeover after this first game, so let's hope Puerta found some type of energy in that last one. 3 games will be played before they sit down again. That was a smart end of the point by Puerta. A lot of clay court players would have waited for that ball and maybe allowed Nadal to get back in the point. But once he saw he fell down, he stepped in, took it early. I guess he's done that, made a career out of that, but didn't go for too much. It's exactly the right thing to do.
Even there, I love watching Nadal, how quickly he gets up.
He covers so well. And that, you know, even that's a message to your opponent that he's still trying to play the point, and that could force an error.
This is the burst of adrenaline that Puerta needs to win this first game. He's got great point. It looked like it would be an easy game for Nadal, and instead it could get this crowd back in the match. And Puerta.
It's been a while. Only break he's had came way back in that opening set. Boy, he felt that one too. Had a pretty good look at hitting that winner down the line. See how expensive that miss becomes.
Like it might have been wide.
And again, Pascal Maria coming down.
Yep. Nadal says no, it did catch a little bit. Got to hand it to you.
The court's just groomed during the end of the set changeover, so easy to see on the mark.
Legs didn't allow him to prepare, get himself in position for that backhand. Normally, first games of a set are not that important, but I think for Puerta here, this is huge. place on Nadal. He's fell down again.
He was still able to squirt the ball back and make Puerta play a collection of fine shots to earn himself another breakpoint chance.
Again, you're thinking for Puerta, how good did that shot have to be?
Exactly.
Nadal could not reach it.
Exactly right.
With that little effort. Got there, Nadal with the error.
Well, it's a rare mistake by Nadal because he's trying to break him down physically, and he hit that pass. He's right to him. And that's where you got to make the guy stretch. That first backhand. You see, he's got it. He's in a winning position. Puerta just pushes the ball back. That down the line is pretty open. And hits it right back to him. And the shot he'd make 9 times out of 10 doesn't come quite as easily when you're a set away from winning the French Open. This at least makes this interesting again now. A great burst of adrenaline and energy. Puerta's saying to the umpire, hey, you're not supposed to take this much time after the first game. Get him out there.
Well, that's not correct on Puerta's part, because when he had his little fall earlier, he went over and toweled off and took a drink.
Well, when you towel off, you can do that. Just the mere fact that he was into that is a good sign. Still hope.
Talking again to the chair after that point.
He's still talking about that changeover.
Yes.
At least that's what I'm guessing. Here, it looks like he's talking about the, let's speed it up, that changeover.
Seeing the Puerta upset one.
That core work pays off. I mean, he's really using that abdomen area, stomach, the hips to really torque his body and generate a lot of power. Those sit-ups pay off.
Going to happen when you generate the kind of racket speed these guys do. That took a funny bounce. He tracked it.
Oh, that's nice fake.
Amazing point.
He tricked him there.
Exactly. I like that deep.
He said, here comes the drop shot. Nadal starts to lean in. He's going to come into net. See him? He's starting to run into net. And he just guides it up the line.
That's pretty.
Very cool, yeah. Nadal, he said to run in.
A bit of cleverness in a power tennis. You like seeing that.
from Nadal, because he'd been hitting short throughout that whole rally. And that's what kept him on his heels. And still Puerta ends up on the wrong end of this rally.
That was a very, very physical point there. He just didn't quite have enough left to stretch the body, move the feet. Be able to, all he needed to do was get that over the net.
That's great hustle. I mean, his feet got him out of the trouble that his racket work had gotten him into.
Nadal is able to break back. And I think you hit it, John. The previous point was so physical, and it took a lot from Puerta.
And when you're tired, those shots, those touch shots, are harder to pull off. You need complete focus. And he's sucking in some air right now, trying to get breath back. Not the type of exchanges Puerta wants, allowing Nadal hit 6 forehands in a row.
Now they're both taking plenty of time in between points.
Temperature-wise, it could not ask for a better day. We're approaching 6 p.m. here, and the temperature today was supposed to barely get into the 60s.
Not too many of those. Came at a nice time for Nadal.
His 7th ace. Nadal with a hold on serve in the 4th.
I'm worried about leaving my family alone when I travel. What if something happened? That's why I got ADT.
I came home one night and found a burglar in my house. And we live in a nice neighborhood. That's why I got ADT.
And now you can get the peace of mind that comes from America's #1 security company. Call now and save $100 off the regular price when you buy ADT's family package. Why worry when you have the security of ADT? ADT, always there.
the great new taste of Pepsi One, the one sweetened with Splenda brand sweetener.
Now is a great time to buy the John Deere riding lawn tractor you've always wanted. Get 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until March 2006. And get $250 off attachments and accessories. See your John Deere dealer now.
You see an old train track. At Franklin Templeton, we saw a railroad whose unused land helped it become a successful real estate developer. Uncovering hidden value to build strong returns for our fund shareholders requires a unique perspective, one that's made us a leader in value investing. Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective. Consider investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses carefully. For this and other information, get a prospectus from your advisor. Read it carefully before investing.
Live coverage of the men's championship from Roland-Garros. Mariano Puerta serving, down 2-1. On serve at 1-2 in the fourth. This is why Nadal has been on virtually every tennis cover in this year of 2005.
It's a telegenic arm, isn't it?
Woo-hoo.
Rod Laver had a great left arm, but he was bigger down below. Arthur Ashe once said it was a 2x4 with freckles, the Laver left arm. But Nadal's, it starts right up from the shoulder.
Nadal went up, took a look at the mark, saw it caught the outside of the line. Point to Puerta.
Puerta had come up to the net a lot in that first set. 22 times he was up there, and since then, not nearly as many. He just hasn't been able to control enough of the rallies in the last several sets to get himself in. Again, it's court positioning. It's the ability to stay in tight and find something to work with. Get in there. That's a beauty.
It is interesting. And John, it goes back to your point. Somewhere, Puerta gets in these low parts where it looks like he's not even in the match, and then he's able to find himself.
It happens, I think, more often in this surface as well. So the veterans of this, of playing on this court, you mentioned since his comeback, he's only played on clay. You know you're going to hit some peaks and valleys. He says he's been out there last year and a half, 6-7 hours a day in preparations for this very moment, if it ever could happen, or this tournament with best of 5. And it can pay off in a big way. Now, it is a lot tougher against Nadal, but the mere fact that he's done it 2 matches in a row at least puts in his mind that it's possible. It can happen again.
Puerta's so far back, saying I'm not going to waste the energy chasing it.
Well, it's the veteran. We were talking about Pete. He's got to think that a little bit because he's played a lot more tennis the last few days. Quite as big as Nadal. He's 3 inches smaller, not quite as strong, though you can see he can hit with some serious power and authority. He's going to have to make the most of the opportunities when they present themselves.
Which wind is this for him, though? I mean, he needed a second wind in the quarters.
Yeah.
Third wind in the semis.
He's had at least a couple in this match. What you don't want to do as you approach up the line is to come right up to the center of the court. You need to cover that line. Cut that shot off. He's not used to approaching that much, Puerta.
Nadal with a hold, still on serve. Presented by Raymond James, brought to you by Crestor. Visit Crestor.com and ask your doctor if Crestor is right for you. And by Lincoln Financial Group, providing powerful resources to help you say, hello, future. Mariano Puerta giving it his last great effort here in this fourth set. Nadal so far has had the answers. We're on serve at 2-3. Go back to Thomas Muster 10 years ago, the last left-hander to win here. And 2 of the last 3 years, players who may well be one-time champions. Albert Costa, Gaston Gaudio.
And this may be last gas for Puerta here. He's going to have to dig awful deep right now.
Just your mouth drops when you realize how much ground Nadal just covers to make Puerta hit a couple of extra shots.
There's very few of any players that run down that shot.
I'm trying to think of better defensive players.
This, I mean, to get that, this is insane.
Yeah.
Why did he give up on that ball? Even he looked a little tired that point. Well done by Puerta. Get back at least a 30 all.
And one last word back to that list of champions. We should mention Gustavo Kuerten, 3-time champion here. He did play this year, but after 2 hip surgeries, his future very much in doubt.
He's been here the whole time. He's been practicing. He's working with Guillermo Cañas' coach, Hernan Gumi. And he's going to give it a last gasp effort himself. He's going to play Davis Cup in about 6-7 weeks and try to see if he can get physically healthy again. Too soon. Now, that's a good game by Puerta. Oh, sorry for talking during the point. I thought it was over. This is when I thought, come on, even he can't get there. Luckily, Puerta did not have to jump too high on that overhead.
But, you know, we marvel at how beautifully Roger Federer moves, particularly on the grass at Wimbledon. And you watch this kid, and you understand he was born to play on this. And it's as masterful as Federer on grass.
Just when it appeared Puerta might be down for the count, he's come back strong here.
And also, to be clear, Nadal can play on other surfaces.
Fans are yelling Puerta.
There you see Argentine flags scattered throughout mostly the second tier of Philippe Chatrier.
Two straight backhands, and Nadal's gotten tentative on. This is love 30.
This feels like Davis Cup. Spain against Argentina in Buenos Aires.
S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît.
How's that for a surprise? 2-3, love 30. Now Roar's back. 7 straight points. He's got 3 break points.
S'il vous plaît.
It's about as careless a game as you'll see from Nadal.
You could hear Puerta as that shot was coming, and you could hear the grunt of, oh, no, not again.
Well, he started grunting when he first started running, not when he hit the shot.
Yeah. Like he knew, like, oh, I've got to run up and get this again. Nadal has saved 2 break points.
Nadal's like looking up at the fans as if to say, look, what did I do? I'm killing myself here. And how many fans has Puerta made today? Puerta had break point opportunities in the middle of the second set and the third and couldn't convert them.
Nadal cranked it up a little bit on that first serve.
And now he had a huge break point chances in the fourth set. And they've gone begging.
Uno, dos, tres,
14.
Yeah, right. You've heard the new U2 album as well.
Merci. S'il vous plaît. Merci.
Puerta's still alive in this game.
Égalité.
Peaks and valleys for the crowd as well. And this is a peak. They're into it. And Puerta trying to feed off this energy.
This is a great example of that huge lefty chicken wing forehand that curls back into the court. So much spin, so much work on it. You can't even, it's not even worth chasing it down.
That was. Nadal back from love 40 holes. I believe the Argentine fans have tried to resurrect the Gaudio wave from last year. And that's what's taken place during this changeover. It started in the upper tier. And after about 6 tries, it's caught on. Of course, last year there was no favoritism involved. You had 2 Argentines playing. Puerta smiling.
It sure made it a match last year, and you're loving this right now. You don't see it too much in the States anymore.
Just another hurdle on this court for Nadal, who in his match with Grosjean last weekend faced as hostile a crowd for 10 minutes as you could ever imagine. Every time Nadal stepped to the line to serve, to continue the match, the crowd would boo him. Anger was really at the chair umpire in that match, not at Nadal, but he became the victim of it.
The fans just have so enjoyed the effort and the great play from both these guys today. They just want them both to feel it, to know it. We want to see if Puerta can give them even more.
And this, a sudden death game for Puerta. And perhaps that longer delay helping Puerta overcome disappointment.
Rafael's kid sister.
Does she look any more interested than she did Friday? What do you think?
Yeah, it looked as though she fully expected him to beat the world's #1, Roger Federer, on Friday.
Good hustle by Puerta there to put himself in that winning position at net. And we are now 3 hours in. Both players grinding out there. Puerta showing some serious reserve. The wave might start again. And Nadal probably wanted to send a message here, but he sent the wrong one because he had a wide open court. Instead, try to hit Puerta. Didn't work.
I tell you, that's big after what had to be crushing disappointment. In that last game, Puerta hold it love. I'm marveling at the fact that Puerta even returned that serve, the way it bounced.
Yeah, it took a wicked bounce, but that's the good part about being so far back on the return. You can make an adjustment. Good feel. They're certainly trying everything. He's trying to stick it over Rafael's head and just not quite enough on it. It's frustrating for Puerta. I mean, Nadal completely mishit that forehand, didn't even hit the strings, and still won the point. He's got that adrenaline pumping in Puerta, and he's taking it to Nadal again. And he got close to the net there and cut that ball off nice and early. It makes that volley a whole lot easier when you don't have to bend below it.
Nadal started to walk.
Impressive by Puerta because he had the love 40 the last time Nadal served, lost the game, but held serve quickly and he's got himself right back here, a chance to break again.
There are 3 chances to break in Nadal's previous service game.
S'il vous plaît, merci.
This. Puerta will serve for a 5th set.
With a Canon PowerShot digital camera, you can make a powerful statement.
Make every shot a power shot.
Mariano Puerta serving to win the fourth set.
And here he comes to the net again. Yep. That's the 16th time he's come in this set. That's how what helped him win that first set as well. And he's now 11 for 16. Those are good numbers for a guy that really doesn't come in much, doesn't even play anything other than clay. But he knows he's got to be inside that court.
Guillermo Vilas always amazed me at how well he hit an overhead. This guy's overhead's very solid and consistent. He missed that. It's about to be 2 sets all. This is unbelievable.
30-0.
That last first serve was a little wide. That's the hardest serve he's hit in this match.
Puerta chance as he was serving there. And real strong on the backhand.
But Nadal is giving him some short stuff. He's allowing him to be inside the court. Remember what Bud told us Uncle Tony said. He's got to be more aggressive. More short stuff crossing.
It's as if imposters played the second and third set. Different players wearing the same clothes. I mean, that's how polar opposite first and fourth sets have been from second and third.
Saw that in the quarters with Puerta and the semis. The same exact scenario. Win the first, drop the next 2. But you think he could do it with Nadal here now. And Nadal had to play a great point to win and keep it from going to a fifth. Puerta still got a set point.
He just didn't think it was going that way. One more set point.
S'il vous plaît. Merci.
Too bad.
That would have brought the house down. The only leaping celebrator turned out to be Nadal.
I mean, this is amazing stuff right now. This is very well done by both players. I mean, that just clipped the top of the tape.
And look at Nadal.
Just sit back and enjoy this.
And now it's Puerta coming over to the chair to towel off. I love Nadal's reaction.
He's still got energy, and after that long point to do that, he doesn't get tired.
40.
Both men now have their red badge of courage on today. both wearing the court. And Puerta, third set point coming.
Avantage, Puerta.
He's definitely hitting that serve with more velocity.
Égalité.
Outside of the Nadal supporters, there's not a person here who doesn't want a fifth set. Everybody rising as Puerta was about to hit that shot.
Avantage, Nadal.
How did Nadal win that point? His family loves it.
Tennis players don't forget. They have long memories. And Nadal had tried to hit Puerta a couple games ago. Everyone's loving this now.
The king of Spain standing to applaud Nadal.
He decided he was going to try to hit Nadal. He could have put this anywhere. Nadal just stuck his racket out, hoped for the best, and the best happened.
And it is 5-all.
Oh, man.
With so much at stake, would a player really think that way? Like Puerta?
Well, he didn't think he was going to lose the point.
Yeah.
He was thinking that.
He should know. He's playing the human highlight film. And he's got to expect that Nadal can come up with the goods and be there.
Well, we're going to really find out if he can be Felix Puerta, the cat, and dig deeper into that bag of tricks. How many lives can he have?
Not quite as emphatic for Puerta anymore. I think even the hardcore Puerta fans have got to give it to Nadal. And we're starting to hear some cheers for him. That strike zone was so high and outside, and Puerta just yanked on it. I think he also took his eye off of it a little bit because Nadal was already recovering from well beyond the court, and that pressured Puerta's response. And even when he's not hitting the ball, Nadal's imposing so much pressure with his defense.
That's amazing.
You know it's coming back.
I mean, that is the thing. Puerta now, no. It's three extra shots to win a point.
I mean, even there, it looked like he may give up on it. There's no way he was going to do that. He tries to trick you into thinking for a second. God forbid he might not move in for one shot. Not the case.
It is Nadal, one game from the championship.
At Giddy Up Car Rental, we help you choose a brand and model vehicle that's right for you.
But I asked for a Ford Mustang.
Well, heck, boy, horsepower's horsepower. Now giddy up!
The championship on the line right here. Puerta needing to hold serve to force a tiebreak. And the first point, forehand wide from Puerta. Run out of words to describe how incredulous it is that Nadal can cover this territory. It's astounding. At this crucial moment, making certain.
Nadal worked so hard that last point that I think he felt like this time, I'm going to try to be more aggressive, make this a shorter point. Go for it. 2 points in this title. For Spain. And this time it's a teenager.
with so much promise, so much expectation, and he has come to Paris and been El Conquistador at Roland-Garros. And first, a handshake for the king.
Yeah. He's really in.
2 kings.
That's right. Amazing match.
What a day for Spain. King Juan Carlos here. And now the hop up and hugs that only a family could love, with all the grime and the clay caked all over him. But the family that has been with him, fathers, mothers, sisters, uncles. One uncle is his longtime coach, the other, there's Tony, the coach. The other uncle who had previously hugged him, the great soccer hero in Spain. There's Mom. Sister to the right. He stayed with them. He didn't go to Barcelona when the country of Spain wanted him. He stayed in Mallorca, the spectacular island in the Mediterranean. A national hero to help Spain win the Davis Cup 6 months ago. And now the individual moment of glory, a championship at Roland-Garros. His 24th consecutive match victory. It'll be some honor because he's going to receive the Coupe de Mousquetaire from one of France's great heroes, the wonderful soccer star Zinedine Zidane is going to present the Coupe de Mousquetaire. It was some battle, and all credit to Mariano Puerta for pushing Nadal through 4 grinding sets before Nadal wins the French Open Championship. We're still awaiting the trophy presentation as Mariano Puerta gathers himself after just a magnificent effort. As unexpected as his appearance in the finals was, even more so how well he played.
Well, he's got a lot to be proud of, obviously, and he made this a very entertaining final.
But at the end, power, the cannon power shots from Rafael Nadal.
The power of his forehand, the power of his footwork, the power of his will.
And never more evident when he saved 3 points that would have forced a 5th set. Set clearly he would have never wanted to play, and he took that and went on to win the championship at Roland-Garros. Insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Harris Direct, for the investor who wants it all, Harris Direct Online Investing, the straight stuff. And by General Motors, GM employee pricing for everyone at participating dealers ends July 5th. At Court Philippe Chatrier, now a tremendous ovation upon the introduction of Zinedine Zidane, a hero in this country for the goal that won the World Cup for France in 1998. He now plays for Real Madrid, and accompanying Christian Beans of the French Tennis Federation, they will present the runner-up trophy to Mariano Puerta and then the Coupe de Mousquetaire to Rafael Nadal.
Well, to think that early in this match that we weren't going to see much of the final at all, Mariano is going to get a well-deserved round of applause. a monumental effort for him to get to the final and play so well.
Vainqueur de ces internationales de France 2005, il remporte là son premier tournoi du Grand Chelem à 19 ans, Rafael Nadal.
It's a great moment for Nadal. Zidane in this country is the Michael Jordan of France, and what an honor for Nadal to receive this trophy from a man like Zidane. Not since Mats Wilander 23 years ago has someone been awarded that cup on their first try.
Zidane helped France win the World Cup.
Mesdames, Messieurs, en l'honneur de cette victoire de Rafael Nadal, l'hymne espagnol. Ladies and gentlemen, in honoring this victory of Rafael Nadal, the Spanish national anthem.
Because you know, with a king here, all of Spain watching, they moved the ladies' doubles championship into this stadium today because Spaniard Virginia Ruana Pascual was playing and all of Spain would be watching.
Buenas tardes a todos. Primero de todo,
Bonsoir a tous.
Primero de todo me gustaría agradecer la presencia aquí de Su Majestad el Rey y del resto de autoridades.
Rafael Nadal saying good afternoon. First of all, thanks to his family.
A la reina también, que me ha dicho que se ha tenido que ir, pero igualmente le doy las gracias por haber asistido. También al resto de autoridades de España y Mallorca que me han acompañado en los últimos dos días. Y bueno.
Je voudrais remercier le roi et toutes les personnes qui m'ont soutenu, et notamment celles qui sont venues d'Espagne et qui me soutiennent depuis au moins un moment.
Authorities and his family.
Después, me gustaría pues agradecer verdaderamente a toda mi familia que está aquí, a todo mi equipo que me ha acompañado siempre, especialmente mi tío que desde pequeño me ha ayudado y sin él nunca hubiera sido posible estar aquí y poder ganar.
Thanks to his team that has always been with him, and especially his uncle, Tony, his coach.
Agradecer al público maravilloso durante toda la semana.
And he thanks the fans throughout these 2 weeks in Paris.
No quiero olvidar de toda la organización, la transportación, los recogepelotas, los líneas, los árbitros, los referees, los jefes de la ATP, Vittorio, Benito, Nicola, etc. Y bueno, espero no olvidarme de nadie. Y muchas gracias a todos y espero vernos el año que viene.
Thanking all of the organizers, ball boys, referees, all of the people responsible for putting on any of the Grand Slam championships. And I hope to see you next year.
Me gustaría felicitar a Mariano por todo el gran torneo que ha hecho y toda la temporada que lleva.
Congratulations to Mariano. Puerta. Rafael Martin of the WTA Tour, gracious enough to help with translation.
Bueno, tengo tantas cosas para decir que no sé por dónde empezar.
Il y a tant de choses à dire, je ne sais pas par quoi commencer.
En principio, felicitar a Rafael, es un gran jugador, jugó muy bien todo el torneo y creo que es el mejor, así que felicitaciones.
Je voudrais féliciter
Having started saying there's so much to say, but begins by congratulating Rafael. He is the best. A great
Agradecer
player.
a cada una de las personas que trabajaron en este torneo, que hicieron posible que se haga. La verdad que muchas gracias. Sé que debe haber sido mucha gente y que debe haber requerido mucho esfuerzo.
Et je voudrais remercier toutes les personnes qui travaillent dans le tournoi.
And thanking all the people from the tournament and the French Federation for their efforts in putting on this championship.
A todo el público, que la verdad que me sentí muy apoyado cada una de las veces que jugué en el estadio. En especial a todos los argentinos, la verdad que me hicieron sentir que estuve en Buenos Aires.
It's a wonderful reaction. We're thanking the fans for their great support. And to the Argentines who were here and so loud today, it said he seemed like I was in Buenos Aires.
A Gringo, a Giorgio, a Darío, a Daniel, a mi mujer también.
Thanks his team.
Me apoyaron mucho y por ellos estoy acá también.
His wife.
Je voudrais remercier toutes les personnes qui ont été particulièrement ma femme également. Je me sens vraiment très bien.
And thanks them, due to them, he is here today.
No gané el torneo, pero hace varios meses empecé un partido muy duro y aunque hoy no gané, siento que ya gané el partido igual. Gracias.
Je n'ai pas gagné le tournoi, mais depuis quelques mois, je joue bien et c'est vraiment un plaisir.
He did not win today.
Merci.
But he feels like he has. Well done. He spoke as well as he played today.
Well put, because he made this a fun afternoon to be in this stadium.
And thank you again, Rafael Martin, for helping us with translation. And again, an understanding of what it means in this country, of Spain, where they watched today. We mentioned they moved the ladies' doubles into this stadium this morning because Spanish television wanted to show it nationally. They were going to be covering this match, obviously. Nadal has become one of the country's great sport heroes, and he now has a championship at Roland-Garros. We'll hear from them when we come back to Paris.
The stakes are raised. Damian Harrell in Colorado, Raymond Billiard in Chicago. On the line, a trip to Arena Bowl 19 Las Vegas. Today, 3 Eastern, NBC.
Most of the folks really staying to watch this ceremony. They were so thoroughly entertained. A glorious 4-set match. There's Pascal Maria from the chair, the umpire being honored. Really to listen to Mariano Puerta and how well he handled it on a day where he leapt, I think, from anonymity in the minds of many to a player that will be remembered for his marvelous effort. And so close to pushing this to a 5th set. When you start, if he had been able to do that, you might have thought he could have been the Gaudio of this year. But it didn't happen. Nadal stopped it. 4 sets, hurrah.
But we know he's back in the media guide.
That's right. And Rafael Nadal, the youngest top 10 player since Andre Medvedev 12 years ago, is now a Grand Slam champion. The French Open titleist in 2005, and we will hear from him when we come back. Ready to hear now from the finalists. First, Mariano Puerta, as we go down to Bud Collins.
Mariano Puerta, mucho corazón, hombre. Nobody knew your name when this tournament started. Then you hear them yelling, Puerta, Puerta. What was that like?
It's amazing. I feel a lot of things. I'm very happy. I play a great tennis today, but I lost against a great player, the best player in clay court today. So I'm happy.
Now, after 24 minutes, you're hurt.
Yeah.
Did you think the match was over?
Yeah, a little bit for a few minutes. But that day, after they see the trainer, he put a little
bandage.
Yeah, and I lost the pain.
Now, 3 set points.
Yeah.
You might still be out there playing.
Yeah.
What happened on that last break point? You're both face to face.
Yeah, I hit the ball really hard, but he put the ball inside all the time, and I lost one volley in the net, so I think it's a little bad luck.
Mariano, you've had a lot of bad luck in your career, but is it changing?
Yeah, it changed. I already changed. I forget everything, so I'm happy now.
When you won your semifinal, you kept saying, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. But can you believe it now? Here you are.
Yeah, because I work too much every day, Sundays. So if I stay here, it's because I work too much.
Muchas gracias. Mucha suerte.
Thank you very much.
Mariano.
Even his attempts to speak English earned him great respect. A wonderful day for Mariano Puerta. The runner-up, we'll hear from the champion next. Oh, that's a sweet kiss for the champion, Rafael Nadal. Time to hear from him as we go back down to Bud.
El Campeón. Fantastic. But what was the difference?
I don't know. It is an unbelievable match. I play with my best head, with my best tennis, and I can win the final. So Puerta play very good match, and sometimes in the match I think I'm gonna lose. No?
When did you think you would lose?
I don't know, but when I lost the first set, he's playing unbelievable. When I was 5-4, 40-15 in the fourth.
3 set points down.
Yeah, 3 set points down. I play very well the set points down, and for that I can win. No?
Do you remember when you broke him in that game? You were both at the net, eyeball to eyeball, and you had to make that last volley.
Yeah, I remember. No, it's an unbelievable point, and for me, one here is the best for me.
Well, it's a marvelous tournament for you to win. You're the youngest since Michael Chang to win in 1989 as a teenager. What about grass at Wimbledon?
I don't know. Tomorrow I have flight for go to Halle for prepare go to Wimbledon, and I will try play my best tennis in grass because I like a lot grass. I think I don't play my best tennis in grass, but I like a lot. I want to improve. No?
Your family gathered around you. Your mother, your father.
Yeah, my uncle, my
everybody.
My uncles is here, and I want to say thank you very much for all. No? Especially for my uncle, is my coach. No?
As a little kid, could you imagine winning this title with all your family around you?
I don't know. Without my family, I never can win here.
Tell me this: why are you playing left-handed? You're a right-hander.
Yeah, for right, for all this, I am right. No, but for play tennis and play football, I am for the left.
Don't ever change. It's awfully good. You saluted your king, Juan Carlos, in the stadium, but you are the king of this palace.
Thank you very much.
Mucha suerte. Gracias.
Think of the poise it takes after winning a championship match to try to speak English, and Nadal rapidly improving in that. The champion at Roland-Garros.
Roberta, I can see you as a file clerk.
And the project is